Every attempt that Donald Trump has made to distract from or hide the Epstein files has only just backfired on him and brought more attention to the scandal. The other night, when Donald Trump posted that we shouldn't look into him because he has a country to run, all it did was confirm the fact that cognitively declining Trump is not running the country, and that of course we should be looking into this Epstein scandal more, and specifically at Donald Trump's crimes. But it's not just his posts that bring attention to that, but a leaked video as well that is being widely shared because it has disturbed the internet. We are going to get into it all, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into this leaked video and image that has everyone incredibly disturbed, I want to start with a breakdown of Donald Trump's level of panic, why these clips are going so viral, and that comes from Robert Garcia right here.
Look, we are going to get to the truth, regardless of whatever efforts Donald Trump tries to put in place. And clearly right now he is panicking. And it's crazy that he's putting out this new investigation through Pam Bondi to go after Democrats when there have been hundreds and hundreds of FBI agents and other law enforcement officials that actually have compiled the files through an investigation that right now are sitting on the Attorney General's desk, according to her. It is outrageous that right now the president knows that he alone has the power to release all the files immediately. There are women, hundreds of women, that have suffered abuse, rape, many of them were children, at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. And Donald Trump could help bring them justice, but refuses to even acknowledge their survivors. And the fact that he's considering a pardon or a commutation for Ghislaine Maxwell, Donald Trump has backed into a corner. We're going to get the files regardless of what he tries to do.
Of course, Donald Trump is in a state of panic right now. His term is coming to a premature end, and not just because Epstein is going to dominate the headlines and Democrats will hold him accountable when we retake majorities in the House and the Senate through constant investigations of the crimes and cover-ups of this administration, but also Republicans have abandoned Donald Trump. Marjorie Taylor Greene has made a political calculation that there will be MAGA after Donald Trump, and he's not going to be a part of it. And that is why she is breaking with him. And it's also because videos like this, accounts like this from Epstein's ex, are just so damning.
You say that Trump groped you in front of Epstein. I do want to note that CNN has spoken to 3 friends of yours who confirmed that you told them about this alleged incident over past decades. Can you tell me more about what happened that day, and particularly how Trump and Epstein interacted?
Yeah, and before I get into the details of what happened, which, obviously I told you guys and I've shared with multiple outlets, the specifics of the assault that happened, I want to point out that I was polygraphed before I did all this by one of the most renowned examiners in the world. Michael Wolff has hundreds of hours of interviews with Jeffrey Epstein where Jeffrey confirmed to Michael what the two of them did to me long before I came out and told you all of this. So those are 2 critical data points that you need to have, and now I'll walk you through what happened. I was dating Jeffrey. He was always talking about Donald. It was his bestie and everything, and he was joking about how Donald thought I was hot and Donald thinks I'm this or whatever, wants to talk to you. And he was telling me this as we were taking a walk down Fifth Avenue one day. And he said, let's stop in and see him at his offices. So we went up to his office in Trump Tower, and within a couple of minutes, Donald was outside of his door, and his hands were all over me. They were on my breasts, they were on my butt, they were on, my hips, up and down, while the two of them just kept having a normal conversation. I don't remember exactly what was in the conversation. Again, this was, we're talking this is 93 now. It was something about, it was irrelevant. It was like, oh, Stacey's career's on fire. She just did Sports Illustrated again, blah, 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 blah. And they were back and forth, smiling and grinning and carrying on a conversation while Donald ran his hands all over me. And, when that happens in broad daylight in someone's office and an assistant's walking back and forth, you're in shock. If it happens in a dark alleyway, right, you defend yourself. But when it's hidden in its brazenness like that, which is Donald Trump's forte.
With Trump's panic, with new information constantly coming out, it is obvious that the White House is trying the best they can to maneuver and fix the PR. Because, of course, they don't think that anyone needs to be held accountable. They just want to shift the narrative. And that's what they're trying to do with some videos and some photos that they're putting out that have backfired pretty poorly on Donald Trump. Starting with this one of kids in the Oval Office.
As for you, you want it or you don't have to have it? Would you like it? Huh? She's smart. She said yes. So cute. Do you want one, honey? You want one too? Look at him.
The White House also shared this photo of Donald Trump and Melania, and the reaction to both of these posts has been pretty strong. One Twitter user wrote, "The deranged White House social media manager woke up this morning and said, 'We need to beat the pedophile allegations. Let's get some kids for him to try to be normal with.'" So the White House is now running cover for Donald Trump, trying to literally beat the pedo allegations by sharing clips of him with kids. They think that's going to do the trick. They think that you're that stupid, that they can literally just blast out photos of Trump with children and say, look, he's not weird. It's totally fine. Everything's okay. He has a wife. It's Melania. Look. And that's going to change anyone's mind? Or that's going to get us to move on? No, it is just bringing more attention to the fact that in every way, shape, and form, this is clearly a cover-up. It doesn't matter how many videos you put out or a photo with Trump and Elon Musk's son. We know the truth, and it will continue to come out, both because Republicans in the House are ready to bury Donald Trump, but in the Senate as well. And Adam Schiff broke that all down. This clip right here.
It's the one where Jeffrey Epstein says about Donald Trump, "I am the one able to take him down." What do you think that means?
Well, I think the import is I know information on Donald Trump that the public hasn't seen yet, and it is very incriminating. This is, I think, where he refers also to it as the dog that hasn't barked. That is the information that isn't out there yet. So clearly he believes he has something that is valuable to him as potential extortion of Donald Trump, but also would be extremely damaging to the president. And probably a thorough investigation would reveal just what that is, if Epstein put it in writing to someone else or if there was physical evidence of that in the files.
Who seems not inclined to do it at this moment. Is that right? Through a committee process?
Well, you can often force votes on things in committee. Forcing votes on the floor is a little bit more challenging. Some things are privileged, and we'll certainly explore whether there's anything privileged that can be made to fit disclosure of the Epstein files. But even if there isn't, there are ways to both negotiate. Okay, we're going to not put up a fight on this. If you...
The information that could come from this and the information that the committee is getting through the subpoena process.
Well, it would mean that the whole universe of information that's in the government's possession would be released, redacting names and other things to protect the privacy of victims. That would be the most fulsome disclosures. What the committees have had to do is go to outside parties like the estate, the Epstein estate, to get records. They might be getting some records from the administration, but clearly the administration is cherry-picking what they provide to Congress. So this would end the cherry-picking of information. Now, I would fully expect, just given what we've seen of the Trump administration and their tactics, that if this passes both houses, of course, they'll veto it. And if somehow we were able to override a veto, they would challenge it in court as, with some false claim of constitutionality or unconstitutionality. They would try to draw this out beyond the president's term if they can. So this is a hugely important step in the House because it forces people to go on record whether they're going to continue to be part of this cover-up.
There's nowhere to hide, Donald. It is a wrap. You cannot fix this, and we will continue to call you out. We're going to be doing it on this show every single day. If you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And if you want to hang out with the show on other places, you can go follow me on Instagram at JD Cocchiarella, JDCOCCHIARELLA, or just follow my other Instagram where I post lots of photos of the Kermit the Frog, but it doesn't matter. Just go hang out over there. Keep on fighting, y'all. Don't let them silence you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.